All right, now we're doing the reverse of that, the horizontal push or scapular protraction, targeting the serratus anterior muscles. We showed this on the floor with one arm. We're going to two-arm version, but I'm going to show this with what's called, what is this called? I forget what it's called. It's from Dynamax. It's a slog. It's like a log. Anyway, but you can see it's like a giant foam roller in this effect for this exercise, which allows me to wrap my scapula around and really get more range of motion through it. Use it for if you need, but it's a little uncomfortable and you don't get as much motion, and you can modify with a really sturdy foam roller just to get a little bit of that extra thoracic extension. And I like to put the middle of the skull resting at the edge of whatever I'm using, okay? So from here, on the way down, inhale and then try to wrap the scapula around the cylinder and then push your scapula away as far as you can. Like, think about not just knuckling, press through the palms. I don't recommend keeping the fingers open like this, especially if you're new to this exercise, doing this a long time. I like to open them up because if I press through the palm, I get more pec activation and more overall motion, all right? But I go inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Really push away and really wrap on the cylinder. Of course, modify with the floor press. How to get out of this? Just try to get into this position. Keep your abs tight. You never want to get hurt on the exit, all right? And just do a slow hammer curl down. You're good. And then we come up, ready to rock. We're taking those one-arm row shrugs, and here we go. Hinge at the hips, and again, don't round that spine. Retract those shoulder blades and create a nice little natural arc in the back. Get those hips back. Ooh, Uncle Big likes to wiggle. Come back down, get set, all right? What I'm gonna do here is the one-arm scap row now, two arms, but from a bent row position. Sit back into the hips, feel the stretch of the glutes, hams, but also activate the glutes and hams and protect that low back. Inhale down, moving only through the shoulder girdle. Those scapula just winging out to the side. Exhale back up like you would begin a row. And we're going two of those bad boys, and then exhale up, inhale down, and do one row. All right, now that's tough. It is tough in the lower back for extended time. You know, if you haven't done this before, 15 to 30 seconds in the beginning, and there's a self-assistance option, but also a way, in my opinion, to get more muscle activation. So that can be the head of the incline bench seat up to about here, or maybe recline 75 degrees. It could be a dip bar, anything like a power rack, rail, whatever you got. I'm gonna hinge back at the hips. And now look, see, in free space, if I don't have the right position, you see that position? Now I can rest here because I've created some freedom for my body where I can round the spine, right? I can do that. Now this would blow out some people's backs. This would blow out my back if I just picked up these weights and didn't warm up like I have been shooting all day. Look at this. I am soaked, all right? Just dripping. But I get locked in, and now I can get in better position here by pressing my forehead and also strengthening my neck, by the way. And now right here, if I was in free space, watch that. It's about the best I can do. When I get here, look at that. The extra lift and pull, I just get such leverage here, right? So that's why we're using it, not just to pressure up the low back, but also to maximize the training effect. I think it's a pretty good combination. You're welcome. All right, so now we got the overhead shrug with two arms, levator scapula and upper traps too, but really working that scapular elevation and depression. Really tough to get the arms overhead. Like if you want to do any overhead stuff, pull-ups, handstand push-ups, snatches, presses, overhead presses, you gotta really get the arms fully overhead. If you can't get enough shoulder flexion, what happens? Boom, hyperextension. So we get into a split stance here, we root ourselves down. I like to put a little slant board or pad to extend the range of motion of it. It actually allows me to get more complete. Look at that. So if I was on the floor, I'd be like this. Because I'm here on this slight angle, I can push through the back toe, drive the hip forward. Now, the stretch in the iliacus area here up into the psoas, especially if I add the arms overhead like I'm here. And we did this in the previous month on the opposite arm, one at a time with the weight we use. Now, whatever weight you use, I want you to cut that weight in half because it's much harder to do two hands at a time. So I used a 10 on this. Look, I can press some weight, but a 10 was the only load I could use without sacrificing form. And again, these are small muscles. They don't need big loads. In fact, if you use big loads, you hurt your body. So we lock in, go one arm at a time to set yourself, and then root and push. Again, push the palms away. Exhale up, shoulders to ears. Inhale back down. Small movement. And again, at about rep 3, it starts to improve because you just get a little more motion each time. This is a micro movement with major gains. Because if I can just relax my arms in this position and get my hips underneath my shoulders, this is lightweight. When I can't and I'm off balance, I have to yank into my low back. So respect this exercise. It's gonna change the game for your shoulders. It's gonna unlock the key to some serious muscle growth and injury prevention. So I used 5s, and that was plenty. Start with 2.5s. Again, go soup cans, peanut butter jars, or just go fists. But I like to actually squeeze something in the hands because we get more activation, all right, and you actually get more dexterity. These are important. Nothing wrong with hitting the upper traps. It is an area that is prone to tension, can cause tension headaches, and creates this kind of rise when they're too tight and don't have enough range of motion through them. So start light on this, focus on range of motion. The key here is you can't have the weights resting here. You got to think about being totally erect, drive the knees underground, push the hips forward and squeeze the glutes, and then crunch the abs and pull the ribs and shoulders down. I'm locked in, I'm ready to go. And don't rest in here, kind of pull them away a bit. Exhale up, pull them up there, and don't just do these fast. No, you got to contract for a couple seconds. After you fully exhaled, inhale back down and watch the difference. Take that there, now watch. Push away. So you can stretch them too. Contract the shit out of them, but then stretch the hell out of them at the bottom, okay? But keep your abs engaged and tight as well. That one, you're gonna get such a good pump to work and grip form. Look at this. I get so much time under tension, but again, targeting this area in particular, it's really a full body movement, especially for extended time under tensions. Get ready.